don't think you understand the commander brackets, and it's probably making your games worse. But don't worry, I'm going to give you a speedrun lesson to becoming a bracket master in today's episode of the Base Deck Diaries. To do this, we're going to focus on two key things. The first is the spirit of the bracket, and the second is when and how a deck wins. Starting on the most casual end, we have bracket 1, and this is all about theme. No, your dinosaur or vampire tribal deck are not a bracket 1 deck. A bracket 1 deck could be something like a chair tribal deck, where every single art has to have a chair in it. Or perhaps an Oops All Grippers deck where every single piece of art has to have some feet in it. Either way, a bracket 1 deck probably isn't winning before turn 9 or 10, and again, it's all focused on theme. Bracket 2 is where the most of your decks probably sit, and most decks that you think are bracket 3 are probably actually bracket 2. A common misconception is that bracket 2 is a place for weak or powered down decks. That's not the case, and we can do really powerful and fun stuff in bracket 2. Typically, a game win has to be telegraphed and it has to be seen coming, and you can't just win out of nowhere with a 2-card combo, and typically, games will end after about turn 8. Bracket 3 is probably more powerful than most people think it is, and most games are probably going to end on around turn 6 or 7 by an infinite combo, and often a 2-card infinite combo. Most of our decks that we think are bracket 3s probably can't compete with this and probably should be sitting in bracket 2. Your strongest deck that you probably think is a CEDH deck or a fringe CEDH deck is probably just a bracket 4 deck. Games are over fast, usually by turn 4 or 5, and often don't involve any form of combat and rely solely on infinite combos. Lastly, you're probably never going to build or brew a CEDH deck, and if you think that you're doing that, you're wrong and you're actually brewing a bracket 4 deck. If you're playing CEDH, you would have spent tons of time looking at the meta and picking a deck from a set list of decks that you're going to play. Probably the biggest mistake that I see is people mislabeling their own or someone else's deck to a bracket higher than what it really should be. This is obviously a very quick speedrun, and there's also the hard requirements of the brackets, but if there's any questions, hit me up in the comments. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 6 of the Base Deck Diaries.